There you go. Hi, I'm Thomas and I make stuff. And today I'll be making some clamps. You see, I only have 3 clamps. This one doesn't even have a handle. But yeah, 3 clamps is not enough, and as you saw in my previous videos, I did quite a bit of woodworking and gluing and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, I need more clamps. So I looked up some prices for clamps. I checked out my local Home Depot and all that kind of stuff. They had some clamps, sure, but it was like 20, 25, 30 bucks for like a ½ meter clamp. And I don't have that kind of budget to spend on clamps, and I wanted at least like 4 ½ meter clamps or something so that I can glue some bigger stuff together. So I bought myself some steel for like 20 bucks or so, threaded rod, some square steel tube, and some like flat profile steel stuff. Yeah. And I'll be making 4 ½ meter clamps out of this. Let's go. Oh boy, that was a lot of grinding. Well, anyway, I've got 4 of these. These are ½ meter by 3 centimeters. We've got 8 of these. These are about 12 centimeters long. And then we've got this threaded round stock. This is M12, and this is about 15 centimeters long. Now the edges are kind of grinded down to be a little bit smoother, but they're not perfect by any means, so let's do some filing. Oh boy, now that all the parts are finished, we'll have to start assembling everything. Now, we'll have this one with one of these on the top here. So in other words, we'll have to somehow make a hole into this one so that this fits in there. And we'll have one on the bottom as well. And the one on the bottom, we'll have one of these in it. So yeah, we'll need to drill a hole in it and tap it. I don't know how I'll do that yet because I do not have a drill that is large enough. We'll find a way. And then we'll do that 4 times. Wish me luck. Oh boy. Oh boy, yeah, that's definitely not good. Something inside the angle grinder just broke, I don't know, it's really weird. It makes this awful noise. It works kind of, but I'm not gonna use it like this. I don't think that's safe, so let's open it up and see what's going on. think the problem is this one here. I didn't notice this, but well, this is a bearing. It doesn't turn at all. I think that's just a problem. Leather on top of the... Okay, right there. Yeah, that's it. The bearing is turning again, so let's try it like this. I don't know if this is gonna keep working. We might have to change this bearing out for another one at some point, but let's see. It should have definitely helped. Okay, let's try that once more. Oh, wait. Seems to kind of work. Yep, it's definitely the bearing. I put it on again, and as you can see, it was stuck again. And when I took this thing out again, I could see that the bearing was loose again. So yeah, definitely the bearing. Now, okay, so I've opened up the bearing, and there were all these. Yeah, that's a lot better. There were all these like pieces of metal that were inside, and they were blocking everything. I think it was like a piece of metal to hold all the balls in place, because there's not that much balls inside. But yeah, it was totally cracked and broken and was all over the place, so it couldn't turn anymore. I've ordered some bearings. They're gonna take a few days to arrive though, so let's get on with the clamps. Now, I can't do this part yet where I put these in because I'm using the grinder for that. What we can do is drill and tap some holes. I do not have a drill that is big enough for this M12 stuff though, so we'll need to find a way to fix that. Oh boy, that's actually really cool. Yeah, I can just drill a hole that is like 10 millimeters and then tap an M12 in there. That's great. That's great. We've got all of them drilled and tapped, and they all have their little piece of threaded rod assigned to them. But obviously we're not going to be clamping our work with a piece of threaded rod like this. No. We need to make some kind of feet that will sit on here and preferably even rotate, which will be quite complicated to make. I don't know if I'll make them rotate. At the end, I decided not to go with the rotatable system as it would be way too difficult. I can always change this later if I really want to. But I've got myself a piece of plywood right here where I cut a circle out of it. And I tapped a hole in it right up this little doodad, and then we'll epoxy this in. And for the handle, I think we're gonna do the exact same thing. Anyway, let's cut a bunch of these circles. handles are all epoxied up, and the epoxy is all set as well. But it's still a little bit rough, and I mean, I did sand them down, but it's still plywood. There's end grain everywhere, and it doesn't really sand very well. But that's no problem, because there is this little trick I learned while making the drawers for the drawer cabinet. So for that, I used some MDF. The sides of this MDF panel were kind of rough, but I decided to paint the drawers as they were still kind of rough, but the paint soaked into those fibers actually and held them together, and then I could sand them, and it was really nice and smooth. So I don't know if this is gonna work with epoxy, but let's give it a go. I definitely feel like that worked. I mean, they're a lot smoother now. They're not as shiny as before, but I mean, they're gonna get scratched up during the work, so that doesn't really matter. So, it's actually been a few days, and this morning, I got this little thingy in the mail. Yep, it's the new bearing that I recently ordered, and I figured, well, I've gotten this in the mail now, so let's install it. Okay, well, as you can see, it's almost on, but not all the way yet. Oh boy, I'm really happy I got this fixed, and it's working perfectly, because it's actually not mine. I found that really important that I fixed this thing. Yeah, let's continue with what we were working on. Now, to make the holes in these square tubes where then the bars could fit in, I first took a punch and I marked out where exactly the hole should be so that I could work very precise. And I used my Dremel because it's very fast at drilling small holes, and it's also pretty precise. And then I used the drill to make those holes a little bit larger. But when I marked out the holes, I made sure they weren't too far apart, so that after I drilled it and grinded the remaining metal out of there, the bar still wouldn't quite fit in. And then I could just use my file to work away some more material so that the bars would fit in, but I'd have a minimal amount of clearance. Oh well, I guess that's about it. Well, I've got my fork lamps right here. Oh boy, this is pretty heavy. Well, I guess there's quite a bit of metal in there. I will still put in some rivets at the end because as you can see, I mean, this comes loose and that's not supposed to come loose. All that kind of stuff. Details really. As you can see, well, this was my first one and I clearly have some clearance issues. But even so, it still works. I mean, it's just a little bit weird. Well, I guess I've got clamps now, don't I? Want to see something clamped? So, I've got these 2 pieces of wood, and I've got 4 of these clamps. You might say, Thomas, that's just overkill. But, hey, I mean, if you got bigger, why not use bigger, right? I got big clamps now. Well, they're not even that big, honestly, but I actually wanted to make them 1 meter long. That meant that I would need to buy 4 of these, and I mean, that would drastically change the budget of this, and well, frankly, I don't really need 1 meter ones, so guess I didn't buy them. Okay, that's another one. Oh boy, this is fun. Well, I guess these clamps really are a little bit overkill for these 2 small, tiny pieces of wood. Okay, and one more. Boom! See that? These pieces of wood, they're stuck. And they'll never get out. Trust me, never. Unless I loosen this up, right? But hey, they're clamps, and they work pretty freaking well. A little bit too well, I think, but yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this. I'm pretty freaking pleased with this. Yes, I am. Oh boy. Oh well, anyway, want to get a close-up? Here you go. I'll make a close-up later, right? Oh boy, well, I guess that's about it for today's video. I got my beautiful clamps, I'm really pleased with them. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and see you next time.